Welcome to On the Couch with Marcia M, the show where we talk about real issues with real people. Today we're talking about the transition with my guest, Steffan. Welcome, Steffan.
How you doing, Marcia? You alright?
Yeah, I'm great, thank
Good
you.
to see you.
Yeah, just thinking about the fact that we met a few years ago.
Yeah.
About 4 years ago?
Around 3-4 years ago, I think it was.
Yeah. And I know that there've been some changes.
Definitely.
Huge changes
some
for
massive
you
changes.
since we first met. Yeah.
Most definitely, yeah.
So, Steffan, you were born a girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was assigned female at birth.
Assigned female. I say born a girl, you know. I was born a girl.
Yeah, which is understandable.
Assigned female at birth.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how I see it in my eyes.
Yeah.
Assigned female at birth. Mm-hmm. And I think it was a year and a half ago I decided to transition my gender from female to male. Mm-hmm. So now I'm living my life as male, but I've always been living my life as male. There's nothing really that's changed apart from just the external side of me. Internally, I've always been a man, and that's how I've always felt. I've never been really able to connect with the female side of me, but the transition itself has opened me up to see both sides now.
When you say you've always lived as a man, because I call myself a man-woman, because I'm quite a man.
Quite dominant.
Yeah, I'm a man. I'm a man. So, what makes you say you were a male? You were living like a male?
Just to think the things that I used to do, like the way I used to act and the way I used to feel. Again, it's all internal, it's all psychological. Yeah. And I just never ever saw myself as a female. I never felt like how a female normally feels. And thing is, I grew up in a predominantly all-female family, and I've never ever felt like one of them. I've always
felt different to the other girls.
Yeah. Okay. I was most definitely an outcast.
So give an example. What was different? So you had females in your household. Yeah. So what did the other females do that you didn't want to do?
Everything that you think about.
Give me examples. I don't know what. I'm a girl, but I don't know. You know.
Okay, the whole thing of painting nails and like the the girly stuff, like doing their hair. I wanted to be a bit rugged. Yeah. I didn't want to dress up. I didn't want to wear any particular female clothes. I felt uncomfortable every single time. I'm
cutting here. I'm sorry.
No problem.
Because surprisingly, the first time I was like that.
Yeah.
I used to climb trees, ride bike no-handed. I taught all the boys. I used to fight. I used to pick up strong. Look at my arms. I used to pick up the girls in gym and just throw them. Things like that. So I'm telling you. So I was very and I liked to wear my hair short, wear trousers. So actually, yeah.
Well, then I think.
But now I know I'm a girl. Yeah. But actually, it was a journey. I was a woman and I was a girl. You know. But I'm saying in terms of like how I wanted to dress. So it sounds like I'm trivialising, but I'm just saying that I can recognise that I am still a woman. Yeah. Yeah. But there were times when I would not want to do those things. I'm saying there will be other women out there who will wear trousers, will want to do not the paint nails thing, because that was definitely not something I did when I was younger. But I've grown into it, so I suppose I've transitioned. Yeah. Perhaps I've transitioned into becoming a woman now, Yeah. And so I hear that. So what is it? Because I'm thinking, so what is it that would make you feel I was assigned female at birth, but I'm not female?
I've just psychologically never been able to connect, even when it came down to dating. Okay. Even when it came down to dating, I was very much always narrow-minded. I just wanted to date women. That was it. That's where I felt comfortable. And being in a relationship with a woman, I've always played the dominant role. Now, not a woman can play a dominant role in a relationship as well. There's a huge difference. And I know
you played a more masculine role.
A more masculine role. Okay. And I didn't like being addressed as previous pronouns such as her or she. I'd prefer to be addressed as he, even down to my name. I've always had a problem with my name from a very young age, and I prefer all my family to call me Steph, and that's exactly what they call me.
Yeah, because when I met you, I know you as Steph.
As Steph, yeah.
And then now I know you as Steffan.
Yeah. So there was just even now I'm gonna be raw. Even now to using the toilet, like I wouldn't sit down.
Okay. You stand.
I would stand.
Mm-hmm.
Ask me how, I don't know.
No, I know that because I can do it too. I'm not joking.
But it was just. There was just always a spark in me where I think is I didn't do the typical.
I feel like I'm connecting with you, you know, really, truly. Yeah.
I didn't do the typical stuff like play all these different sports or anything like that because I believe that there's men are very individual, just like women.
Okay, so you didn't do all the stereotypical male kind of
not at all.
Stuff.
I was very much more into acting, dancing, everything performing arts, media. That was it, not football or anything like that.
So, Steffan, so it wasn't because you were just gay?
No, because I went through that transition as well, and I felt uncomfortable.
That. Being gay?
Being called that.
Okay.
It didn't suit me
because lesbian.
You're
not a lesbian.
No.
That's exactly.
Male. I had to eliminate that word because it just didn't resonate with me well.
Yeah.
I hated it.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So. Where I am now in my life, this is perfect. It's a perfect fit. That's how I've always been feeling. But then I never really knew what it was in that time anyway. I was going through the journey, just through the motion, until I came to the realization a year and a half ago.
Okay. So with the realization, what makes the difference then to Steph before making that decision? And so you saying you're in transition or you've been through the transition?
Now this is something I had to question myself on the other day, and I actually did a YouTube video myself on it. And I believe that we all go on different transitions in our life, and we can always come to the end of a chapter.
Yes. And
I feel like that chapter is now closed.
Which is?
I am Steffan Zachiyah. That's it. So my gender transition is over because I am now aligned internally as well as externally, definitely.
Explain that to me. I have to keep it. Let me run.
No problem.
Hold on. So, I'm going to ask you this, if you don't mind. I've got lady bumps. Have you still got them?
Lady bumps. Lady bumps. I've never heard that one before.
Have you never heard it?
No. I haven't had any operations at the moment.
Okay.
But I will be soon. So physically, the transition's still ongoing.
Okay.
Psychologically,
you've done
finished.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it. Yeah.
And actually, I can tell. I mean, I met you. I've only seen you a few times over the years.
Yeah.
But I can see that. I can actually see that. You know, definitely.
It's brilliant. I feel.
And you seem really free.
Definitely.
Because you were carrying that.
I'm a lot more confident as well.
Yeah.
I was confident before, don't get me wrong, but I wasn't as confident as I would like to be. There was always something holding me back from, being that confident person, and I knew exactly what it was. Okay. So now that's complete.
So do you think that some of the questions that people ask, is it a genetic reason that do you think something genetically
happened
with you?
I read up on that before. Scientifically, they say that a man can overexert too much sperm sometimes, which can cause the gender misconception sometimes as to why teenage and kids that go through all different phases and they just want to explore everything. Yes. I heard that before. I read upon it, but I don't know how true that is.
Yeah, because some reading that I've done and research that I've done, it's around babies being born with, the male and female genes. And exactly. And it's, as you said, you were assigned male. Obviously, you were assigned male for a reason because you had the penis, you had what identifies you as a male. Yeah. But perhaps, I sometimes think, well, perhaps although there could be that physical evidence of being male, could there be other chromosomes or hormones or whatever there are female that actually are more predominant within this person?
Exactly. What do you think? This is the reason why you get people who are born intersexed as well.
Tell me, what's intersex?
Intersex is when you're born with both genitals.
Both. So hermaphrodites.
Hermaphrodites. Yeah. This is this is where you're born with one more chromosome than the other.
Yeah.
Again, it's all down to, you know, the overexerting of the male sperm.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Okay.
And again, it's down to genes as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't believe it's anything just made up. Oh yeah, I feel like a man, so I'm going to go and transition.
Well, this is what I was going to say.
You know what I mean?
That, you know, for a lot of people, it's like, hold on, what's going on here? You know, this is some psychological problem. You know, this is not a physical thing. This is not something that nature intended. So that's what people will be saying. How are you dealing with this?
To be honest, everyone's entitled to their own opinions, and I already made my choice. I knew exactly how I felt along my journey. And I can't really dictate anybody else's journey. So, if anything, I don't hear it. I don't listen.
Okay.
I don't listen.
So actually, people's opinions.
Yeah,
That's
it just goes over my head.
Okay, because you're confident and sure.
I'm very sure
about the decision that you made. You know where you were before. Definitely. And you know where you are now. Definitely. And how peaceful you're feeling now.
Yeah. It's hard for people to understand sometimes, which I understand as to why they give such negative opinions. But at the end of the day, I mean, if you haven't walked 10 miles in my shoes, you really can't tell me how I have felt in my entire life living as who I was assigned as at birth.
So you were assigned a girl, female. Yeah. You are now
male.
Male. Yeah. Okay. Psychologically male.
Psychologically and physically as well, because
physically male.
I appear masculine.
Socially male.
Socially male.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll ask you some more questions. God knows it. So if you go to hospital, what ward would you be on?
That's a question as well. A good question. Now legally, I would be on the male ward. Well, I was going to ask you.
So legally, you're male.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, legally.
Legally, you're male.
We're first to go to prison.
Yeah. Where would you go? No, I know. I've learnt about this. Actually, if you were legally male, you'd go to male prison. But I do know of some people transitioning who aren't legally transitioning to female. Yeah. Actually, I know of that. Yeah, transitioning to female who are in male prisons, but everything else in their appearance is female. Yeah. But they're not legally female. Okay. So that's interesting. Yeah, it is. So what is life like for you as a man then? How do you cope in all the
You know what, now that I've dealt with the transition, it's more about the social aspects of being a black man. Yeah. So having to walk across the road if I'm walking, if I say it's 8 o'clock at night time, having to cross the road, and if I see another woman coming up to my path because I feel like she's going to be intimidated by me or she's going to be threatened. Wow. It's literally just a social thing now, and I understand how hard it is for a black man to be living in today's society.
So a few years ago, when you were walking as a woman, it's a
I
different
didn't appear as one
now.
either then. Wow. That's what I'm saying. I've always just been like this.
Okay. Yes, you were like this when I met you.
My voice would give me away at the time.
Yeah, your voice is deeper now.
Yeah, a lot deeper now.
How come?
I've been on testosterone, which is the injections, hormones, for a year and a half.
Yeah, and your appearance is much more masculine as well. It is, yeah.
And plus I'm in the gym as well.
And in the gym. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely the social part of being a black man, it's not a burden, but you can feel the pain.
And when you're speaking with men, are men accepting you as a man?
Yeah.
Black men are accepting you as a man?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because again, you wouldn't second guess.
No.
Yeah, you wouldn't second guess. Unless I outright say, you'd probably be looking for some
It's true, you can't. How old are you?
25.
Yeah, and you look like a 25-year-old man. You do?
I look younger.
Yeah. The reason I say that, I mean, I have a son.
Yeah.
He's 29. He looks very young. So I'm gauging against my son looks young. Yeah, no, you look like a 25-year-old
It's good genes.
To me, isn't it? Good genes, isn't it? Yeah. Wonderful. I mean, it's great to see you feeling so confident and secure in yourself. How did your family cope, just before we wrap up, with this transition? And how have they transitioned?
They're still transitioning.
Okay.
They're definitely still transitioning, especially because I come from a Jamaican background as well. Yeah. It's hard for them to fathom. Like,
of course.
My sisters already knew I was on that journey.
Yeah.
Where my mum, she's just like, ooh. She's noticed the changes, but she's not said anything. Yeah. And she's heard everyone around me transitioning with my name and etc. etc. And she's reluctant until she saw my documents the other day. And she's seen my letters, everything says Steffan Zachiyah Thompson. She's like, so Steffan, Mr. Zachiyah Thompson.
Where's my daughter?
Well then, you know, she had a few, when I did a documentary for the BBC the other day, she had a few people phoning her from abroad saying, R.I.P. to your daughter, R.I.P. You know, rest in peace. And then she was panicking.
Did she grieve though over her daughter?
I think she's in the grieving process at the moment.
Yeah.
So I've had to kind of just retract myself a little bit because I can't imagine how hard it must be for a mother to lose their child.
She's actually
but I'm still here.
She still has. I can relate to that to some extent. That my daughter converted to Islam and changed her name. So she changed from the name I gave her at birth.
Yeah.
And that was really difficult too. The whole process actually has been difficult and quite a grieving process as well. Although she's still here, we have a wonderful relationship. But that transition, you know, is a big thing, and I think it's important for the individual, but it really impacts on the whole family.
Yeah, definitely. Because I used to get really angry when she still used to use the old pronouns.
Name.
But then again, I have to understand.
Say she.
Yeah. I have to understand that.
It's a journey.
Yeah, it's a journey.
We're all on a journey. I mean, I have to say that when I met you, I knew that you were female. You were a female. I knew you appeared male. I knew you were female. So I always thought of you as she, her. Yeah. You came today, although I know you're Steffan. At one point, I said she to one of my colleagues. And I was like, he, and they went he. So I had to correct myself, even though I totally know where you're at. So I think for all of us, it's a journey, and I suppose it's about where we start with somebody. Yeah. And it's a journey of.
Everyone else is transitioning around.
Everybody transitions at a different pace, and people have to be able to understand what's happening.
Definitely.
And try and I think what you've done is something that it's people question it, you know, morally. In religion, culturally, the whole realm, it gets people to really question. It can make people uncomfortable. It can make some people much more comfortable. Yeah. You know, because I'm sure that there are other people out there who are asking these questions as
Most
well.
Definitely. Yeah.
But Steffan, thank you so much for coming on the couch today and sharing. Yeah, we've been trying to get together for a while.
I know, right?
So I'm really, really pleased. Thank you so much for sharing.
No problem.
And being so open about your journey.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks. Sorry to ask about all your bits and things like that. You know, it seems a bit, you know, but I think those are some of the questions that I had in my mind. I'm sure other people would too. Thank you so much. Yeah. So we've been on the couch with Steffan, talking about a very personal journey, talking about the transition. This is On the Couch with Marcia M.